cushion. So I don't bump it. And look at that head. My goodness. Hello, everyone. Just rearranging things a bit.
I'll just tell you.
You're happy with that, hopefully?
Yeah. Still a little bit dark, but it's not so bad.
It'll be okay. Hello, everyone. Another week. Good to be here. Jump on the chat. We have a couple of little questions, nothing huge on that. So any questions on the chat would be great. I had two, but they're gone. Okay. I don't know if I whether to wait or have you got anyone there? I've got no one. You got one. Okay. It's funny how it changes.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just
keep on going. We got comments, questions on about dam sealing. So we'll go with that. You don't know who Paul is, Sire?
No, it's a non-student.
Okay, non-student. Okay, so
Visitor on our website.
A visitor on the website. Okay. It's about sealing the dam. There's actually two questions. So, how did I seal my dam? What did I use? And the next question is about a product that Paul has used and said it's worked well. So I'm just a bit apprehensive, that there's nothing happening. Okay, whatever. So I'm just going to be talking to myself for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can talk to me.
On the topic of dam sealing, so what did we do with our dam? Leaky dam, from what I understand, there was a dam originally built, held water, and then a new owner on the property made the dam bigger, and it compromised the seal, and it has leaked ever since, up until, well, we've done a few jobs on it. I did a reshape long time ago on the dam, and I actually did a bit of sealing in the bottom. That made a difference for a bit. It still leaked quite a lot. Excuse me. And then we got bentonite put into the dam. However, I made I guess as a mistake, we never put bentonite in the bottom part. I thought the bottom part of the dam was sealing okay. And I didn't have the option of emptying the dam to do the bottom because we needed water to function. I didn't have the finance to build a dam, a small dam, to put some water in so that we could function. I only had the finance to do the dam, and we put in bentonite. So I guess the depth of the dam from bottom to spillway is 8 meters. I would say that there would have been possibly 2 meters at the bottom of the dam that still had water in when we put the bentonite in. Maybe 1.5, but I'd say 2 probably to the height that we could get to with the bentonite. Reshape the dam bit, and then peel back material, lay down bentonite, a thin layer of bentonite, and then put the material back, compacted it. And that made a difference because there was water going through the wall. There was a section of the wall that was very soft when the operator peeled back about 600 mil of material. And so he compacted that and then put the bentonite on, then compact it back down again. And that stopped that leak in the wall. The dam filled up. We had a big event. The dam filled up, a really big, fast event, and there was slippage. 2 slippages in the dam because the bentonite is a very slippery material, and so where it was on the steep side and where moisture was coming through from I slipped on both side walls of the valley, and so moisture was coming in the valley under in the soil, through flow in the soil, and hit the bentonite and caused its sides to slip. The sealing was better, but not ideal. So in time I repaired the slippage, just put it back and compacted it a bit with my little machine. And then there was still leakage. So we put in polymer for the bottom. It worked pretty good. However, we emptied the dam because we never had any big rainfalls. We emptied the dam. I think it worked very good actually at that time, because it went down to about 10 mil seepage loss per day, 10 mil drop. And but we emptied the dam, and the polymer product, once it dries out, it's no good anymore, which is something I wasn't aware of. So we've allowed it to get more water in again, and we put more polymer in. I would have liked to, in hindsight, would have liked to put in one more bucket. We put in 4 buckets the first time, and only put 3 buckets in the second time, because I thought I had a little bit more of an idea where the leak was, and I was a bit more accurate on that application. However, there is one problem with putting in the polymer, and that is if you've got a lot of organic matter. And in hindsight, I had a lot of organic matter in it, and the polymer sticks to the organic matter. So I had vegetation, just weedy stuff, and the polymer stuck to the vegetation and didn't get down to the bottom. So it would have probably been better to put the extra bucket in, or have got in and whippersnipped all that weeds down before the water came in. That would probably been a better move. So we've still got leakage now at about 40-45 mil per day. The dam is quite full. We're about 1.5 meters from full. So we've lost quite a bit of water. That's quite a percentage. That's a big percentage, the big end of the dam. So if it's leaking at the top, I don't want to use polymer again, because I'm going to empty the top bit. What I'm hoping on is to get another big rain and fill it back up again before this wet season finishes. That would be ideal. And with that might bring in some organic matter that seals the top bit a bit more, or seals where the leaks are. And what I'm sort of hoping as well, when level goes down to half full, then maybe it'll because there's more pressure when it's fuller. So maybe the leak rate will lessen. There is an option of putting some more polymer in now that the organic matter would have disintegrated quite a bit in the bottom, and is sitting on the surface of the bottom. That could block up and seal it, or we'll eventually empty it and put bentonite in the bottom part and see how we go with that. A lot of mucking around. It's a bit of a nuisance. So Paul was saying that he's used a product called Agri-Dam Sealer. Just a quick Google I did a moment ago. It's Agritech, I think it's called. Let's see if that page is still open. What have I done with it? There it is. Agri-Logic, and it's called Aquatech Dam and Pond and Water Sealer, which is another polymer product. So I don't know how. So we use Polymer Innovations, I think it was called, Zai, that you looked at the other Polymer Innovations. You just want to type that in, Zai. Polymer Innovations. G'day, Steve. Nice for your comments there. Great. It's some weeds sticking to the polymer. I didn't know that. What percentage clay do you have in your soil? Obviously not enough, Steve. I haven't actually really measured that, but obviously not enough. We got a shale product, and it's not the ideal material to seal dams. This valley is renowned for. So that's the starting point, is the issue of not having enough clay in the soil. So we do have a clay in our soil that's great, but it's only about probably 150 mil thick or 200 mil thick near the surface. So percentage wise, that's really limited. And yeah, so it's that is my big problem. Shale, from what I understand, will crush down and seal. So I think you really need to get a heavy compaction roller. And the thing with a heavy compaction roller is a bit slow, and so it's going to be expensive, but probably worthwhile doing to that. So my suggestion is get a damn good operator. Make sure you have a damn good dam operator, dam builder, experienced person that's conscientious about what he's doing, and get him to do a good job, obviously. Build the dam and put bentonite in the dam as you build it. That's probably what I would like to do. And then later on, add polymer. But this polymer drying out and not working after that is a big issue, I think. Okay, if you have a nice dam sitting there looking good and pretty and it's spring fed and things like that, but if you're going to be emptying it for irrigation, I don't think it's the best solution. That's just my comment on that. Okay, Paul has a bit more. And what would be the best water plants to filter the water and won't spread out of control? A really good one is the Typha. I don't know its Latin name. I guess maybe it is Typha. I don't think it'll get out of control because it only grows where it's very, very wet. And I guess what aquaculture in it, then I'm just unstable at the moment, but I think it's all right. What's the problem with having a filter, a Typha filter in there? I've got cigar rush here. It's taken over a fair bit of my pond. I don't know that it's going deeper into the pond. Usually your edge plants won't go deep. So that is a bit of a distinction of what plants to use. So if you use water lilies, they usually go to 2 meters deep and then they can't reach any further. So, if you've got a deep dam, that's okay. Or if you want the whole dam covered with water lilies, that's fine. If it's shallow water, depends what you really want. I can't be real specific on the plants. There's obviously a few invasives, Kumbunga, and I can't think of the other one. Got to keep away from them. Any water plants, I think the majority of water plants are going to be filtration plants. That's that's their job. It depends on what you want from your water, your ponded water. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to use it for? I'm very keen to put some Typha into mine. If I can get it to hold a stable amount of water, I could probably just throw some in there and see what happens. I don't think it's going to be invasive for me because there's not anywhere else it can go, really. I don't have wet spots on the property. We have the creek. Well, Typha is allowed to be in the creek. There's you see Typha along the side of the road in wet spots and things like that. So that's its job. So I don't think it'd be a big problem to let it get out a little bit and do its stuff. That's its job, stopping sediment heading to the ocean. Shale clay is good here for compaction. We use a backhoe with a load of soil in the bucket. Great compaction, and we check for ideal moisture and add where necessary. So moisture as you build. I saw a dam being built with I guess it was a bit shaly material, and it was really dry. It just wasn't compacting. They didn't have a water source to wet it, and then that wall leaked. It's a rather big dam too, but that wall not terribly leaked, but it seeped, and I was apprehensive about that dam because when he built it, it was really dry. The material was very dry. So it should have been wetted. So that's the idea. When we did the pond here, we wet it as we had water supply. So we did a little pond, and that's 14 meters across the round part of the round pond, 14 meters across the surface. We wet it as he built it. We were very concerned that we were going to have enough clay in that, but wetting it as he did it and mixing it, he grabbed a bit of the gravelly bit because there's a bit of gravelly stuff in the shale gravel, and then mix the better stuff with it, and then applied it and compacted it with it. Nice moisture. He'd tell us how much water to put into it, and then say that's enough, and then he'd compact it down. So it took a while to do, but we ended up with a pretty good result that doesn't leak much. I guess there's a bit of seepage, hard to measure. I think it's probably as much seepage as evaporation. A shale clay, so it's going to depend on how much clay you have with your shaly stuff. Ours is very, very rocky shale in a lot of places, and where it's in the valley, so it's washed out of the hillside. The the bit you need, which is the bit that flocculates and gets in suspension, washes away and just leaves the little stony bits behind. We have a lot of that because that's what we're in the valley bit. There's a lot of that shaly gravel with not much between it, and so we need to add a bit more to it and more clayey stuff to it to get it to seal. Thanks, Steve, for the comments. Right, I have another question. This one from, I'm presuming it's Dang or Dung or Dang. Excuse me, I don't, if I'm not good on the pronunciation. Is doing the course and he's on day 1, session 7, and I'm pretty sure that's the section on, what did I say, small scale intensive systems. And it's said corn is said to die after 2 to 3 years. Well, I thought it died every year. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the 3 sisters where you do corn, squash, and beans. And so it's a little bit confusing. I'm highly sure that English is not the first language here. Can they still live and create the same ecosystem? If it's the 3 sisters, you're going to repeat every year, replant every year. So you've got to save the seed. So maybe he's thinking that you need to change your seed. Zaya, maybe he's thinking changing the seed every couple of years, because it seems a bit confusing. Because
I'm not quite understanding
the full depth of the question.
Because what we would do is, because it would only live for a season, so
yeah, your beans are going to be a season.
Yeah, you harvest your corn, you harvest your beans, and you harvest your
squash, yeah,
and you replant again
the next season. Yeah, well, that's what the 3 sisters' normal procedure is. So, but what should we do with the legumes? So the legumes. Yes, we have legume vines here that I thought you said dung is from Holland. Yeah. So that's definitely going to be seasonal there, because your squashes and legumes here do stay going. Corn definitely only goes for the 6 months or 5 months or whatever. So you're going to be replacing that. So I think the comment I'll make is you rebuild your plot every year, and you probably will rotate as well, unless you're up with the Elaine Ingham stuff. You would be moving your plot. So plant one plot one year, then move to another plot and do the next year, and then move to another plot. So you're getting in a cycle, just to change things. There's a lot of reasons for it. That the true organic policy is to always, there's actually a cycle of what you plant seasonally. Each season you plant, and I don't know what that is. I haven't followed that. Oh, cramp! Oh, holy smoke! Got a cramp in my leg. Sweated a lot today. Excuse me. So you're going to replant, and can they still live and create ecosystem? So you'll save your seed, which is a really good thing to do, so that you are building up the, what's the name of that, of your localized. See, when you save your seed, you're building up your own. It's not variety, but I can't think of the word. Where you basically, they become more resilient because they become more accustomed to your conditions, so they adapt to this. They slowly adapt each year. So that's an interesting point I've got right here. I've got corn that we're drying here for next season. So this is a strain of corn that we were given from a local guy, and he's been doing it for probably 14 years, the same strain. So I had this strain a couple of years ago, but with the volunteers, it got lost or mixed with others, and so I said, okay, can we start again? So this is the seed from what he gave us, so we planted it. So there's another one there. But this one's not a fantastic corn, but it's drying there, ready for the coming season. So save your seed and then recreate each year in a new plot and cycle through your gardens. Now, this is another part of the question. saying more generally, but it's probably not the right word. As we want to replace a plant that is significant in a specific system, how do we keep the system balanced? Well, that is a really interesting question because it's a bit of an unknown. If you're bringing in a plant into your space or your bioregion and there's no plant that's not been introduced before, it's a bit of a risk because it might get quite invasive, and then puts the system out of balance. However, so we've got to be cautious of that. I'll make that comment. We've got to be cautious of that. I have introduced leukemia to this property, and I think it's only me that's introduced to the valley, and I'm noticing it. So I'm going to have to be a little bit on to not letting the seed get too much. So keep harvesting the seed and not let it get too wild. Now I want to carry on with the comment. My take on things is the systems are very out of balance anyhow. So why does a weed become invasive? Well, it's nature's using as a tool to try and balance the system. That's a challenge. That might take, that could take 50 years, 100 years, 300 years for that to occur, to get the natural balance in place. Nature's not minding. It's most hard for us because we're short-sighted, and we want to have a response to our advantage in a short period of time. Is like in 5 years, we want to have that the use of that plant in its function. So it's a hard question it's a hard topic to comprehend because we're not sure what nature needs. This where I am now. This was a vine jungle more than 100 foot high, very, very dense from what I understand, big trees in here. And here I am trying to grow a veggie garden and grass for cows. So nature wants to, I'm keeping it out of balance because that's not meant to be here. So if we bring in a species and all of a sudden it goes crazy, it's just because nature wants to turn this back into a forest. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a forest, providing my needs. Yes, not natives, majority not natives, 95% not natives at this stage, to provide my needs, and I'll create a forest, and then maybe nature will be happy and say that's balanced, according to what the question that has been put here, to get balance. It's our comprehension of balance is not necessarily what nature's trying to do, and so that's when we've got to work with nature, not fight nature. So I think I'm creating a forest. I'm actually I'm getting more dense pastures, not necessarily for more production. Overall, I want enough production to keep my stock, and then I put more swales in to try and hydrate the soil. So that's going to work as similar to a tree system, a forested system, and then on those swales put on forest. Mixed planting, providing my needs with some support species, allowing a few wattles to be in there, allowing a few second succession, third succession plants to be in there in time. I'm doing second succession, so I'm having a few macarangas and sandpaper figs and things like that coming in, which is about, I consider a second succession behind the weeds, and allowing them to be in the system as well. And then bringing in some timber trees. So we've got up the back, we've got red cedars. I'm going to allow more of them to grow, not in my pastures, but on my swale mounds, and behind the swales to create forest where there's space. And that's a native, and also the silky oaks and a few others. So we'll bring in a few natives. They providing furniture timber. I'll bring in some other eucalypts in a small amount for timber and fuel, structural timber and fuel, and then have my food plants in amongst that as well. So I'm going to be introduce and allowing some natives in time. So bring that 5% up to probably maybe 15 or 20%, and and Zai wants to do a bush tucker, so we'll bring it up in as well. So it's a big-winded topic about balance. What's balance? Our comprehension of balance is not necessarily going to be correct, because I'm probably majority of us are going to be thinking of this generation and maybe the next generation. Not too many of our children are taking on what we do. It's a culture. Maybe our grandchildren might. Or someone else here that doing something in time, I'm sure. So we sort of got to think and do what they might need as well. Heaven forbid they come and bulldoze a lot and grow macadamias or something. That's probably quite possible to happen. What's Steve got there? Do you feed Lucina to the cow? It isn't weedy here. As the cows eat it and we chop and feed to them in the dry season. Totally around your natives versus invasive philosophy, ecological function there. Yeah, because if you want to go totally native, all us white fellas have got to leave. And our farms and our houses and our sheds and our trucks and our roads to leave because we're not native. None of that's native. None of that's natural. So that's not going to happen. So we got to get in a balance of some kind of and just not be greedy and just only have what we need and trying to have as what we need in as small space we can, so then we can have more regenerating native-ish with whatever, because you're never going to get rid of a lot of the invasives. There's a couple of invasive here that I really don't want to have here. There's 2 vines, cat's claw vine and Madeira vine. They're the main ones. Back to Steve's question. Do we feed it to the cows? We don't do forage feeding to the cows. That will happen in time. We could. We've done ice cream bean. They like that. For me, the Lucina here isn't that foliagey. There's not a lot of growth on it. It's I'm doing some chop and drop at the moment. Yes, we were a bit late last year on some of the chop and drop, so they haven't come back. But they'd be, compared to the ice cream bean, they'd be 1/10 of the biomass of the ice cream bean. So they're not really cranking here. If I was going to grow forage for the cows, I'd do ice cream bean because they love it, and it's so much more happening. So I don't know how bad ice cream bean is going to be to get out of the system. It is a little bit hard to kill. The roots will grow if you snap a trunk off underground. The roots snap off. The roots will come back. I don't know that Lucina does that. Lucina's just got an excessive amount of seed. Ice cream bean has a lot of seed too, and so I've noticed a lot of seedlings of that, but not. I think Lucina is going to be worse for that side of it. So if you're hitting them hard with the cows, well, that's great. That works, and they'll probably chew them near to the ground anyhow when they're little seedlings. I have more area that's not grazed, and with the swale mounds and stuff, and so that's where I'm going to have the issue with it. I was hoping to use it as a fire fuel for the rocket stoves, but it doesn't burn the best. Ice cream bean doesn't either. So I'm working on the Gliricidia now. That is, I'm drying some at the moment to see if that's going to be a rocket stove fuel. Great sticks, and just see what I think. I think the Lucina was a little bit smoky on the rocket stove. I can't remember if that was or not. It just wasn't appealing to me. And the ice cream bean just nearly put the fire out. It wasn't a good burning material for that multifunction, forage and fuel. The Gliricidia cows eat it. I don't know how much they eat it. They eat it as there's a bit hanging over the fence in the laneway just behind here. I took some branches to the goats. They had a nibble. They weren't keen on it. It's quite strong, but maybe there's a seasonal strength in that. I'm going to try a couple of times through the season and just see if they'll eat it at different times. It's quite smelly at the moment, so maybe they don't like that tannin in it. But the cows are nibbling on it. I don't know if they'll eat a lot. I know they eat a lot of ice cream bean because they just smash that if you give them a chance. The Gliricidia here is deciduous, and so that's great for for creating a forest floor. And you can smash them, and they'll just keep coming back. That's what they use for a forage and fuel. I guess fuel. But you see them chop. They actually use a lot of it in the Pacific Islands, South Pacific Islands, for living fence, and that's what I want to try one day. See if we can do some living fence. Okay, I think I've covered that one. Thanks for Steve hanging in there with us. We're pretty quiet. We were all excited last week. We had a few people on board, but it's quiet tonight.
They've all forgotten about it.
Yeah. I don't know if we need to promote it more or something like that, but that's all right. They might come in later.
Yeah, probably. And these have to go on Facebook again.
What have we been doing? This is supposed to be our chop and drop week. We haven't had net takers, but I've got a few coming tomorrow and Friday. We're doing a chop and drop blitz. So it's just been Ben. Ben's part-time here at the moment, volunteering. He's doing an agriculture course, so he needs to do studies as well. So he's been here for a couple of days, and we got in, and it's been nice doing that, nice and steady. Man, the biomass! I'm really excited about how much biomass I'm putting on the ground. It's a lot of material, but it's a lot of work. But I am very pleased with how the fruit trees are going in that food forest section. They're actually starting to crank, and this year's probably helped a lot. They're not canopying yet, like canopy to canopy, but they're getting close. And so we're actually taking out a lot of the mugwort, which is our main biomass plant in there, and getting rid of the Tulsi basil, because it's becoming invasive. It's got a very viable seed. Mugwort doesn't have a viable seed. So we're just removing all the Tulsi basil and taking out probably 3/4 of the mugwort, and then next year it should be easier to do the chop and drop. It won't take so much effort, and then that's in the main food forest, and then it'll give us a chance to have some energy to get onto the swales. We're always a bit behind on the swales. I am 2 months behind, but we had all that wet, and I was focused on that a lot, and I'm down on volunteer. So but it's still very interesting. I really enjoy getting in there and seeing what's happening, because that's when you learn a lot about what's going on, what's working, what's held back because I haven't maintained soon enough. A lot to learn as you're playing in a chop and drop moment. It's good fun. Okay, well, I might wrap it up. It's a bit of a quiet one tonight, and I'm tired. I had to go and pick up a load of fencing logs today. I was hoping they were going to be good quality and good size. Well, they're good quality and heavy, very good size. So, and then my helper disappeared, so I had to unload on my own. But I'm very happy to get a nice load of fencing corner posts and the stays, the strainer stay. Another job coming up in the winter. We'll get some fencing done. So we're heading towards doing some pigs. So, and just see how that goes, and what we're intending to do, which might help us on our maintenance. Our chop and drop is we're going to try and grow a bulk forage for the pigs in the wet season, and only run them in the wet season. So it's going to be fun to experiment with that, and we'll just see how it goes. So, and try and become self-sustaining, self-sufficient, I will say, with our pig meat. So we're not buying it. So we haven't gone through the whole working out how that's going to occur, how we're going to get the process, but let's just get the fencing up, and then we'll do a tractor and chook tractor. Okay, thanks, Steve. Thanks for being there. Nice to have you on board. And till next week, you take care. Look after yourself. Okay, bye.